incredible.
This is golden. I mean, what are we even fucking, why do we do this? Anyway, welcome to the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. Of course, I am the Midwest coastal elite from the best coast to the mid-best coast. On its best days, the Midwest is a little bit mid. Nick Cameron, joined by my good friend, a guy who's always a little quick to anger, who's always busting balls, from the Bronxish New York seas, Keefy, Two Guns, D. Simone. How we doing today?
Pew, 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 pew. What's up?
And like the bunion that became a friend, our own Ragin' Cajun, Don Delatour Dautrieve. How we doing today in Louisiana?
Well, thank you, sir. So very happy to be here.
Alrighty, as always, it is beer, metal, swearing. Here's how we do this. Beer check, vinyl check, not today, because meat of the episode, get to that. News, meat of the shirt check, meat of the episode, Pink Floyd, live in Pompeii. And Deuce Kiss Go, the Glacially Musical Beer of the Week is, nope, I'm going to call an audible. I'm going to hold that one for the second beer. Easy Eddie, Hazy IPA. I drank this in Iowa while watching the Blues win a fucking hockey game. I should have drank it for Game 7. Did not. What you got, Don?
Actually, this is what I got. I'm
okay.
I'm burning the midnight oil tonight, so I had to have some caffeine. So I have that, and I'm also doing a Sprite chaser.
All right. I'm drinking this out of my Northern Tap House pint glass, which I got at the Northern Tap House in Minnesota. What you got, Keith?
Don is gonna do like Kylie Jenner and cure racism with this Pepsi Cola. The voice of a new generation or something, or the choice of a new generation.
The Glacially Musical Podcast does not recognize any of the Kardashians.
Fair.
Or any of the Jenners.
I assume they're all the same thing. I looked at a BuzzFeed article today. They're like, 40 times celebrities were out of touch. It was the Kardashians for like 15 in a row, and I'm like, why are they even celebrities?
And Kanye is a Kardashian by proxy. I'm drinking a liquid death.
Let's go with by buttress.
Very well. Cheers.
Cheers, my friends.
Cheers, everybody. All right, happy Wednesday.
This post on Friday. So we are here.
Well, happy post on Friday then.
We are here to discuss the Pink Floyd live album that finally came out officially live at Pompeii. This is going to be, I'm going to say, the first and only proper Pink Floyd live record. This is the only live record that is an actual concert, not a chunk of a concert, not a single album concert, and not a live album featuring not the classic band, although Pulse is amazing, and Delicate Sound of Thunder is really growing on me as well. Of course, the live Dark Side of the Moon, which Keefy and I did before Don came on board, before our bunion became a real boy. That one, it's a chunk of a concert, and I'm still angry that they have not released that whole show. Because that whole show, I mean, just the parts I've heard are fucking amazing. It's even got raving and drooling. Not sheep, but raving and drooling. And it's also got You Gotta Be Crazy. Not dogs, but You Gotta Be Crazy.
You gotta be crazy. That is a great show, by the way. That is a really good fucking show.
Yeah, it got a horrible review. And that was one of the things we discussed when we did that review. It's like, this got a horrible, horrible review. And I remember Nick Mason talking about, oh, yeah, it was a terrible review. And honestly, we deserved it. And I'm like, bro.
That show is epic as fuck.
If this is a terrible Pink Floyd show, my dick would have exploded in my heart before they got to the intermission at a good one.
That's not an image that I want. But yeah,
well,
thank you.
Now I have it. Now you have it.
Forever
so we
burned in.
No vinyl check. Don, did you get your record?
I did. Okay. You mean the Floyd one?
Yes.
Dude, I've been waiting downstairs for it. It still says it's in transit.
Shit, I'm gonna have to unbox the damn thing.
No, you got to do the unboxing.
Actually,
I'm not gonna lie. I was actually pissed because I was hoping to do the unboxing, but
it's better for you to do the unboxing because you've got a better vantage for unboxing, and you've got a big desk rather than a little bitty baby boy desk like I got. So,
well, maybe as we talk, maybe it'll get delivered between now and when we go to get started. If not,
it's true because we have to
unboxes.
do a brief news check and a shirt check before we do. We're going to do the vinyl and the review all together this time. Like boys, right?
The only
we have
news
a little bit of time left still, maybe like 15 minutes.
We're not. No, well, I'll just unbox the damn thing. It's fine. The only news I have this week is Kirk Hammett is out there finally doing press, doing his usual unboxing of the Load boxed set. I am not buying the Load box set unless it goes on sale for $50, so I didn't even bother watching. And that is my news for the week. Done?
So I don't want to crash the news on Keefy, but Keefy, I'd like you to talk about the big news that we got today about about King Buffalo.
Well, there is Lord Buffalo.
Lord Buffalo. I'm sorry,
Buffalo.
I keep
King Buffalo, Lord Buffalo
is a different
bands.
King
so
Buffalo
there is an
from
update
Cincinnati.
on that news story. So earlier today, I woke up to the news that Lord Buffalo, not to be confused with King Buffalo, Lord Buffalo, kind of like a stoner rock adjacent folk band. King Buffalo, a psychedelic stoner rock band. Same region type of band, but not quite.
I feel like this is the same band.
Not the same band. So Lord Buffalo is on a plane in Dallas getting ready to fly overseas to do their European tour with a band from Norway that's a stoner rock band. And immigration and border patrol people board the plane and pull their drummer off. And the band, this guy was arrested, taken off the plane. The band also deplaned because they now can't go on tour. And they canceled their whole tour and then basically in that moment. Now, the narrative that the band put out is that it was immigration and border patrol. Their drummer is Mexican, but he has a green card. He has residence in America, has lived here a long time, is an official, has a green card. And he happens to have a Muslim name.
Mm-hmm.
So the narrative sounded like he was pulled off the plane because he ticked some boxes and ICE came and took him. Now, he was arrested and they cannot reach him. Now, the latest thing that popped up is that there was an arrest warrant for the drummer. We didn't know this. I didn't know this at the time that I shared this news all over the web and everybody copied my story. Thanks, Metal Sucks and everybody else.
Fuck Metal Sucks and everybody else. Fuck them.
I don't want to say fuck them because they're my peers, but it's kind of like, if you didn't have the story at all and then you saw the story on my website and there's no way you could have had the story if I didn't have it, then you should credit them.
They're not my peers. I wish they were my peers.
You should give a little credit. I always do. If I saw a story at Lamb Goat, granted we're partners with them, but if I saw a story with Lamb Goat, I credit them. If I saw a story with Metal Insider or Blabbermouth, as Blabbermouth has reported,
just do that, and then put a little spin, a little editorial at the end, and now it's your own thing.
Well, just one link back to my story. It literally beat for beat, word for word of my story, my photo. I had Metal Sucks doesn't review that many albums. They certainly didn't have a review of that band last year when they put their new album out. So anyway, it seems like it wasn't immigration related. He was arrested because he had an outstanding warrant. But somehow he was flagged, right? He was flagged by airport security as a guy with a green card and a passport, has an Arabic name, has a Muslim name. Basically, Saeed is his last name.
Yeah.
And he had an arrest warrant in Dallas, and that's why they came in for him. But it's very believable that this will happen and has happened. I know people who are illegal aliens, whatever you want to say, longtime residents. They pay taxes and they don't have citizenship.
I have known plenty, and there are. I'm going to quote Tim Wilson when I say the illegal is the truest American.
I guess
they work. They work harder than anybody else.
No human being. I don't even like that. No human being is illegal. Fuck that. Okay.
Oh, completely.
This country built on immigrants cannot be discarding immigrants. We're not talking about terrorists. We're not talking about refugees. By the way, refugees end up becoming citizens and paying taxes. So make up your mind which ones you want. You don't want more citizens and a bigger tax base, or you do. What do you want? Make up your fucking minds. By the way, there is no border crisis. It's not. It's just fiction. It's just fucking fiction.
It's always been fiction.
I'm tired of it.
It's all just fucking ridiculous.
But now I have to print like an update to the story when we get off this podcast. And it's apparent that he had an arrest warrant out for him. That is the reason he was taken off the plane. Now I'm going to say, like, people are arrested every single second of every day, and you can go look up where they are at the jail. Like, they can't find their friend. So there's no proof that he wasn't disappeared. And that's what's happening is, without going on too bad a political rant, is that people are being disappeared. It's fascism at its worst and racial profiling, which is never good. So I don't like any of this, even if the facts were a little convoluted and I didn't have all the information when I ran the story, and I am sorry. It's totally believable that this has happened, will happen, and could possibly continue to happen.
All righty. Shall we move on to kinder, gentler, more fun things?
Sure thing.
Well, hold on. I have a piece of news. Just one. Steve Perry of Journey has teamed up. Steve Perry from Journey has teamed up with Willie Nelson.
I'm going to drop a team up news then too.
Look. Steve Perry has joined forces with Willie Nelson to cut a version of the Journey classic "Faithfully."
Who's singing it?
Probably Steve Perry and Willie Nelson, Nick.
Oh my!
Like, this is going to be like the "To All the Girls I've Loved Before," redux.
Do you know what they should have done? The thing they missed out on? They should have gotten Paul Simon too. I mean, just really, just make the thing as old as possible. Because Steve Perry,
no one was available to adjust the mic stand.
nobody was able to measure it. Nobody knew if it was the right height. Oh my God! Can we not talk about this anymore? Because I hate this.
No, it's just too much.
Okay. Just John 5 and Richie Kotzen have announced a double headlining tour, not coming to St. Louis, but it is playing in Chicago twice at different clubs. So fuck you, Richie Kotzen and John 5, for skipping the most rockinest town west of the Mississippi in the Midwest.
I fucking love Richie Kotzen, but John 5 can toss my salad. I do not like that dude.
He is a very attractive man. If he said yes, well, I mean, I'm married.
I kind of want to go to that Kiss thing, but not just to go to LA to do that Kiss thing. By the way, I'm shocked that neither of you have the Foreigner news. Do I have to do the Foreigner
news? There's Foreigner news?
There's Foreigner news.
There is Foreigner news. I actually have it tabbed over here. I forgot about it.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that we were still doing that.
Nick has the Foreigner belt. Don is the Foreigner king. Roy Thomas Baker is the Foreigner queen. Go ahead, Don. Do the Foreigner news.
I'm gonna give it to you because I totally dropped the ball. So come on, you get to do the Foreigner news this week.
Foreigner has put out a new version of "I Want to Know What Love Is" in Espanol. Come on, Nick, you know you love it.
No, I don't.
Fluent Spanish and Japanese.
Maybe
Nick should volunteer to do the fluent Japanese "I Want to Know What Love Is."
I don't know. My Japanese is conversation.
OBI sticker.
Obi.
I call it OBI.
Well, you're dumb. It's Obi.
This is my world. I can call it whatever I want.
No, Obi, and it's Juan Kenobi.
No, it's Ben.
Old Ben? Maybe he means that old wizard.
That's it's totally a different Kenobi. He just wears the same outfits, dresses the same, walks around with a lightsaber. Totally not the same guy.
You gotta give George Lucas credit for being the most lizard brain fucking dude of all time.
Seriously,
just really not even trying hard. Shinobi, not even trying hard.
Not even Ben O Kenobi,
right?
Or Ben Mick Kenobi, or Ben Kenobi Stein. No, just Ben
Obi-Wan lightsaber Kenobi. Is that what we're gonna call him? Obi-Wan priest Kenobi.
That's the best. Okay, we should everybody should start getting
it should have been
middle name.
It should have been Sir Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi of the Jedi Order of Tatooine, who's totally not. All right.
No, I'm from a bridge on the River Kwai.
Okay. Let's not get into what?
Shirt check time?
Oh, shirt check. I'm wearing my jeans place from Pittsburgh.
Bar shirt? Is that the bar shirt? You kind of need to announce that that's your shirt of the month club, because I don't know where you pick up shirts.
This is a shirt. This is a shirt of the month club shirt. I think it was my second one.
Very good, Don.
There's a couple I haven't done on the show, and I won't, because they've got just a little logo on the breast.
I hate those.
And then a giant logo on the back. Exactly. I hate that.
Those drive me crazy.
Give me the big. Give me the big salami on the front so everybody knows.
I want the big on the front. Yeah.
I'm gonna grow a skullet.
You're not too far off from it, buddy. Seriously, just letting that free. Dude, I'm not far from it. I've got about 4 more inches.
I was wondering if there was going to be any self-actualization going on right at that moment.
Right here, dude. Always, I'm like 2 inches away from being David
Brett Michaels,
Crosby.
what shirt you wearing?
I'm wearing my "This Is Fine" shirt, which is dinosaurs looking up in the air as a comet is about to hit the ground, and I think that kind of says it all about where we're at.
Don, is your mic even on? I think you move too much in your chair. Like either physically you gesticulate too much. Yeah, you need to speak into your mic is not a very good room mic. It's like a cardioid mic. It's like
it's definitely not a Yeti Blue. I don't know if you notice how sexy I sound.
It's not a Rode.
Into the Yeti Blue.
Yeah, I might have to fucking jump the gun and get one of those because this is a good portable mic.
I already sent you the link for the kill switch. No one believes in me. It's fine.
What the motherfucker? What is that? What is that?
Mine stopped working when I got the Yeti Blue.
Did you buy another one?
No, it doesn't work.
So you don't believe in yourself.
I have it right here.
Does that make you a bad messiah?
Listen,
if I don't believe in myself, would that be blasphemy? Okay.
Siousie
nailed it. Get it? Nailed it.
Eat me. You know what would have been a good idea for Jesus? Cross training.
Oh. Or a hammer or a claw hammer to get the nails out.
Where does Jesus actually go to work out? Jehovah's Fitness.
Oh, that's a good one too. CrossFit. Okay.
So let's do the albums because I don't think we're gonna have a whole lot to go over with the record itself.
Okay,
Keefy, what's your shirt?
You don't want to set up. I said Siousie and the Banshees. You don't want to
Oh, that's a great shirt.
It is.
Actually, I do want to set this up.
Yeah, set up the year, and then we'll do the albums of '72, and then you will unbox the vinyl, and then we'll discuss the album. And
now,
which I just
19. So what we are discussing this week is Pink Floyd live at Pompeii, obviously, but this is a very significant concert. Don, why is it significant?
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
Why is it significant? Oh, because it was at Pompeii. That was the first living human.
Did you say American? You said American.
No, I said first human.
You said American.
They were the first human American
Omar,
British living.
Those vocals on Call of Cthulhu are amazing. Go ahead.
Roll tape, Omar. He said American. No,
they were the first American English living band of long hair people to play at Pompeii.
Okay, that's not what I was talking about. Okay. What's significant about this is because in 1972, I think as middle-aged Gen Xers, we tend to forget that rock music wasn't always older than us, wasn't always this 70-year-old thing. And in 1972, rock music is still like, is this even a thing? Is this really going to go on? I'm going with it. I'm sticking with it. So this was a film. This was a concert film in 1972. Concert films in this era were not a significant thing. Black Sabbath never had one. Led Zeppelin hasn't had one yet. But here we have Pink Floyd. And at the time, it's worth mentioning, Pink Floyd was still this crazy art house band doing soundtracks to art house movies. They never had any top 10 hits. They had marginal success with random singles here and there. And so what do? They go and create probably some of the most iconic live visuals of any band ever. The original film, Live at Pompeii, is parodied and homaged. The Beastie Boys even did a homage to it. In the song Gratitude, I believe it was, the video for Gratitude, filmed in Pompeii, and they even used Marshall cabinets that said Pink Floyd London on them. Hell, they might have even been Pink Floyd's because Beasties had a lot of money back then. So that's a very significant time. And this is also the time when the hippy-dippy 60s have finally died. Because as we've discussed many times, the turn of the decade is a lot more like Velcro than it is like changing the channel. There's a ripoff. At this point in time, Ace Frehley is in Molimo, Peter Criss is still doing Hippy Dippy in Chelsea, and Paul and Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley are still doing hippie songs in Wicked Lester. I mention them just because of how much we talk about them. And if you think about that, we are still dealing with double donkey shows, as Keefy just worked out. Fucking kickers. I'll tell the story later. So here we have this almost, and especially in America, this almost unknown band getting this movie into theaters. And on top of that, they re-release it a couple years later after Dark Side comes out with some of the recording of Dark Side. So it's the first like backstage recording documentary, and so much of that ends up being parodied later. So like when they're ordering their breakfast in the studio commissary, that becomes a thing. That was even parodied in England's Bad News with Rick Mayall and all those guys. I can't remember the rest of their names off the top of my head right now. So this album, or not the album, but this movie is it's a moment in the cultural zeitgeist. Whether or not you love these songs, this is a statement by a band saying, we have a grand vision, we will not be ignored, and we will let a fucking dog sing because Roger's vocals are tired. Keefy?
Okay. That surely was an introduction.
He didn't like it.
I don't know. I think Pink Floyd's in an interesting place. Metal definitely directed the way forward. Longtime listeners of the DMA and Nick's other podcast and Glacially Musical know that of my love for Obscured by Clouds, which directly preceded Metal and Pompeii. And I think that Obscured by Clouds plus Pompeii, plus Metal plus Pompeii equals Dark Side of the Moon. You clearly saw where they were going. And I have many thoughts about the movie versus the soundtrack. I don't know if you know this, but apparently, originally, was it Adrian Maben is a British film director. He's the guy who pitched Pink Floyd on doing Pompeii, and his original idea was flat. Whatever his original idea was rejected. And then when then he went back to he went like fishing with Roger to hang out with him and get to know him. And he's like, what if we stage the band like a band with no audience? Like that was the thing. It wasn't about where the location was. It was like a band with no Pink Floyd, known for their live shows. What if we just have the band without the light show, without the thing? That's not a bad idea.
And no shirts.
And sometimes no shirts. And depending on when they filmed it, Rick Wright with no beard. The magic beard, the magic beard theory, like the magic bullet theory. And they settled on Pompeii. It was extremely logistically difficult, to the point that they moved all the gear in and then realized they didn't have enough power to correctly power the gear, any of it, the camera work, the audio, anything. Their original idea, like they did some stuff that had never been done, like even Get Back by the Beatles is recorded on an 8-track. So Pink Floyd was like, oh, we'll record this on an 8-track. And that'll be enough. And it actually wasn't enough. So when the music was later reproduced, they produced it, they bounced it to a 16 to do the final mix and edit on it. So imagine how much work that is in the era of 2-inch tape. That is hundreds of person hours to do a thing, right? But that's the kind of attention to detail Pink Floyd had. That's the kind of attention to detail they all had. So I think that's super interesting. I think there's other interesting things I'll talk about as we discuss Pompeii, the album versus the film later. Would you like to hear about the contemporary albums released around the same time?
Let's do that. And as always,
let's do it.
Two Eds, 5 seconds.
Need some refreshment. I'm sorry.
That's a tasty beverage.
You know,
Careful, there's a beverage here.
the little bit of sugar I allow myself to have. Albums in 1972. You may have heard of a few of these. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust by David Bowie.
Yes.
Exile on Main Street, The Rolling Stones.
Yes.
Speaking of Yes, Close to the Edge by Yes.
I don't remember.
Yes.
And yes, I think.
Yes on the yes.
A very important record in my childhood. Arguably the best album by Neil Young, Harvest.
Hell no.
Yes.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, we know that Don is a hater of Billy Joel and Neil Young.
But with Neil Young, though, Harvest and After the Gold Rush are pretty much like the one great album he made. That's it. I'm done.
One more.
Shush.
Pink Moon by Nick Drake.
No.
Brilliant album.
I'm pretty sure that Gerald Scarfe did the illustration on the Nick Drake record. It looks just like the wall. Superfly.
Sound just like the wall?
It does not. Superfly by Curtis Mayfield.
No.
Maybe the best album of the entire 70s. Let's fight about it.
That's
the album Only I Like, Transformer by Lou Reed.
Yes.
No.
I love that album.
Talking Book by Stevie Wonder.
No.
No.
Incredible. Can't Buy a Thrill by Steely Dan.
No.
Steely Dan would never make it today. That's because Steely Dan gargles my balls.
We did that last week.
We did. We'll do it again every time.
It never gets old, though.
It never gets old. Machine Head by Deep Purple.
Hell yes.
Yes.
I'm waiting for Machine Head to release an album called Deep Purple. That would fucking rule if they were smart.
Well, hey,
they were smart.
Little sidebar of trivia here, though, Keefy, was that, Warrant had an album called Dog Eat Dog.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then a band came out called Dog Eat Dog, and they have an album called Warrant.
Warrant. Yes.
Yeah.
I love Dog Eat Dog. They used to be called Mucky Pup. Anyway, Black Sabbath, Volume 4.
No.
Maybe the best one.
No.
Eat a Peach. Eat a Peach by the Allman Brothers.
No.
I hear a lot of people say Almond Brothers. It's Allman Brothers.
I would like them less if it were the Almond Brothers.
Oh, no. Thick as a brick.
Before they were the Allman Brothers, they were called the Almond Joys.
Fair. Thick as a Brick by what's that fuck?
Unfortunately, yes, because no one will take it.
No one will take it.
I have it. I would take it.
Yeah, Foxtrot by Genesis.
No.
These are all pretty great albums, by the way. Honky Chateau, Elton John.
I love that title, but no.
No, great album though.
Self-titled album from Paul Simon.
No.
No.
Perennially overrated Todd Rundgren, Something Anything. Really mediocre, terrible guy. Great producer, not a great artist. I don't give a shit. Fight me in the street. Chicago,
was he in the Sweet?
He was in the Naz, and he can defend himself.
I was going to say the Sweet's not that great either.
Chicago.
Neither was the Naz.
5.
No.
Maybe? I don't know. I've lost track of what Chicago albums we have.
Shoot Me in Both Ears, Randy Newman, Sail Away.
Red-headed lady looking for an apple.
Just the last few. You make these longer every time. It's not because of me. Alice Cooper, School's Out.
Yes.
Mott the Hoople, All the Young Dudes.
Yes, I just recently got that.
That is also an anthem for San Francisco. You know why. Mm-hmm. I can barely pronounce this, but it's Ege Baimasi by Can, the krautrock band. They rule.
Nope.
Probably
no, I don't have that.
And I think that's it, because it's a strange year, 72, the year I was born.
That was a good year, man. There's a lot of good albums.
Probably more. Let's see, just really quick, because fuck it. Let's just see what else. Most
of the years in the 70s had like a serious amount of bangers.
Self-titled the Ronstadt album.
Maybe I got like 10.
Cass Elliot posthumous album.
No.
Let's Stay Together, Al Green. Self-titled America album. Self-titled Blue Oyster Cult.
No.
Bread, Baby I'ma Want You. Leo
Yes.
Kottke, Greenhouse. That's a very good album.
Oh, that's a good album.
Buck Jackson Brown. He's a wife beater. Ironically, Mark Almond has a record out this year.
Was he in the Almond Brothers, or was he like oh god, what's his nuts? Andy Gibbs.
No idea.
Andy Gibbs didn't get to be in the Bee Gees. Like
Mark
that's right.
Almond
didn't get to be in the Almond Brothers.
Pain by Ohio Players, great album.
No, I have Sweet Honey or something.
Okay. Also same year, Music of My Mind by Stevie Wonder. Shades of a Blue Orphanage, just about to launch Thin Lizzy's career, but not on that album. But not bad. We did that previous podcast subject. And I'm sure Alvin Lee and Company, 10 Years After, not bad.
That's a great album.
Bobby Whitlock, self-titled. Pure Prairie League, self-titled.
Saw them, I think, once.
Steve Miller Band with a weird concept album.
He did concept albums?
You sure did. Humble Pie Smokin'.
No, I got Fillmore.
No.
ZZ Top Rio Grande Mud. Yes.
No.
Oh, no. Gentle Giant, Three Friends. Big Star, #1 record. Kind of pre-alternative rock. Anne Murray, Annie. Not a bad record.
No.
Anne Murray, gosh.
Couple of Elvis Presleys.
Mm-mm.
Johnny Cash, A Thing Called Love.
No.
The Isley Brothers, Brother.
Oh, good album.
Jeff Beck Group by Jeff Beck.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes. Great
album.
album.
Uriah Heep album. Exile on Main Street, we mentioned already. Velvet Underground live at Max's Kansas City. Also a decent live record, but Nick is right. Really no great live records before this time.
Bill Absolutely Withers. Live was pretty good. Withers, that was a hard one.
Still Bill by Bill Withers, not bad. Janis Joplin in concert, not bad.
That's a pretty decent album.
Aretha Franklin, Amazing Grace, not bad. The Eggles, self-titled. Obscured by Clouds, Pink Floyd also this year. You know how much
I've heard of that one.
You might have it. I have it too.
Yeah, I think I have it also. Pressing.
Self-titled Roxy Music album. Do you know Stevie Wonder's first wife is Cyrita, who was an R&B singer in the 70s? You should look her up.
No.
She's incredible. And then he divorced her and wrote a whole album about her. And then she wrote a whole album about their divorce. It was pretty amazing. Emerson, Lake and Palmer Trilogy. It's kind of a compilation.
No.
I'm probably missing something else, but honestly can't think of too much else. Sparks.
Was there not a Led Zeppelin record this year?
I don't think so.
1 and 2 were 69.
Yeah, 3 is 71.
No, 370, isn't it?
Zeppelin 4 is 73.
Is it really?
Yeah, they were on the road a lot. We did Sabbath, Budgie, Squawk, not bad. Mickey Hart, no thanks. Waylon Jennings, Ladies Love Outlaws, Ladies Love Cool James. Santana, Cavaranasai, that's not bad, or whatever it is. Caravanasai.
No. 4 was 70. It was 69, 70, 71, and then 73 for Houses of the Holy.
Oh, sure, sorry.
And then Physical in 5.
So nothing in 72 still, though.
Yeah, nothing in 72. They were on the road.
No,
on the road.
Yeah.
Heavy Cream by Cream. They're already well disbanded.
That's no, I'm thinking of Fresh Cream. Never.
Fucking anti-vaccine freak.
Loggins and Messina.
Kenny?
Loggins and Messina. Just what you think it is.
Kenny Loggins?
Kenny Loggins.
Did you never hear of Loggins and Messina?
No.
Dude, your mama don't dance and your daddy don't rock and roll? Loggins, Messina?
Oh my God, I said that to my mom once. She got angry.
I bet. Carole King, Rhymes and Reasons. Stylistics, Chat Round 2. Harry Chapin, Sniper and Other Songs. Great. Steelers Wheel, Stuck in the Middle with You. Lou
They actually had other songs?
Low Red Transformer, which I also...
At least enough for one record.
At least enough for one record. Moody Blues record I somehow don't know about. Seventh Sojourn. Probably their 7th record, Just Getting.
I think I'm going to start buying records that have 7th in the title.
Yeah, for sure. Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
Seventh Star by Sabbath.
Got it.
Cool and the fucking Gang. Good Times, Bo.
Oh, good album.
Papa Cool Bell. I challenge you to find a better sounding bass sound in the whole 70s than that guy.
Wait, Wait, what's it? Papa Cool Bell?
That's who founded.
Not okay. So is he any relation to Cool Papa Bell?
Whatever.
Admirer?
In what?
Carly
don't
Simon,
preach.
No Secrets Worth Having just for the album artwork of Carly. Good golly. Chris Christopherson country album, Jesus Was a Capricorn.
No, I got rid of it.
The Partridge Family Notebook by the Partridge Family.
No.
And War, The World is a Ghetto.
Oh, it's a fucking great record.
And I think also West Bruce and Lang, basically Mountain. Why Don't You? It's basically a Mountain record. All right. I think that's kind of it. Bobby Womack and J.J. Johnson Across 110th Street came out around Christmas. That's not bad. That's a pretty good year, man.
That's definitely
that's a hot year, by the way.
And the debut
seriously.
of REO Speedwagon for some fucking reason. I wish I didn't know.
I think I have that on vinyl.
Kill me. Kill me.
I will not kill you until I make you listen to the Legs Down at the Table song.
No.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know the name of it. Would you? Do you? Something? I've seen women screaming, Lord, I believe in the Bible, but I never met a woman that makes me feel the way that you do. I don't know.
This is like the worst open mic ever.
I know, because I'm singing.
To all the girls I've loved before.
This one goes out to all the ladies out there. Anyway, shall I unbox this bitch?
What do you think, Keefy? Should we let him unbox it?
Do it, Doug.
Do it.
All right, I'm going to get my box out.
He's going to get his box out.
Do you?
That was like the funniest, unfunny thing I've ever said.
do you, Jay? Do you live by the book? Well, I got it. You picked us up. It's easy to say you do, but can you?
Can you?
I don't want to stop it, Keefy. Turn your goddamn camera off. You're being way too funny.
I'm currently watching my Ring camera, hoping they'll deliver my album.
Bro, it's over. You don't even.
Is that your Ring camera? I thought that was your proctology exam.
Oh, look.
No, wait.
Done.
This is it. Right here. This is
Done.
the proctology exam.
All you get to do for the rest of the episode is woo. You get to go, woo!
Woo!
Yeah, because this is a vinyl episode. So here's the record. It's Pink Floyd live at Pompeii. It's got those crazy numbers that we don't talk about anymore. We got one of them. We got one of them serious gatefolds.
Oh, I like this. This is
you got
nice.
like David. You got them Rogers, all four of them, and all the business. And then there's Nick Mason. And I'm gonna outrage on behalf of Rick Wright. Why is he in black and white? Is it because Wright black and white? I don't know. Whatever, man.
Can we just talk about how foxy young Nick Mason was?
We should be talking about how foxy young David Gilmour was and how much better looking elder Roger Waters is than all of them. But
Seriously.
that ended about 8 years ago.
It's like crazy because Waters looks amazing now. So.
Not now. 8 years ago, he was amazing. He was a great silver fox. Now he looks like a gaunt zombie freakwad, and I don't like it.
Well, it's like he shaves on every like 5th day.
Right.
That looks.
Then we got careful with that axe, Eugene.
Like a taint, actually.
Oh my God!
Roger.
Really?
Taint face.
Then we got the back of those amplifiers.
What?
That's where the magic happens. By magic, I mean, of course, science. The sounds of science. Dropping them like a Range Rover. The album itself. This is a good, thick pressing. They do this crappy stuff.
Oh, I like that.
Where each side has a different label. I don't like that because they don't clearly demarcate that A is A. You got to look closely and you can see that this side is B. And I don't like that. Alrighty.
I usually just mark it in pencil on the label if that's the case.
Dude, what the fuck is wrong with you, savage?
Because I don't care. I need to know what side. Look, I need to know what side is what side. You know.
And then the insert for side 2, we got some business, and then we got another picture of the
beautiful
amphitheater. Oh my god, I know. I actually showed this record to my kid, and her responses. How many concerts did they record in Pompeii? I'm like, 1. She's like, what's the other one you have?
The same one.
David Gilmour. I have David Gilmour live in Pompeii.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
Do you have it on vinyl? I got it on vinyl.
No, I didn't want to drop the $60 that you were asking for it.
Then here we go again with the disc, slightly different. Now here's where it gets stupid. And my child loves it when bands put posters in their records. But hang on, I gotta move them. I gotta move the microphone up a little bit for this one.
Careful with that poster, Eugene.
I mean, look at this. I can't even show you the fucking thing. It's obnoxiously large. I would actually put this on the wall, but it's like 36 by 48. And I mean...
Wait, the album or like your actual wall?
No, I have the wall on the wall.
The poster is 2 feet by 3 feet. I have a wall perfect for it, and I'm probably going to put it up in my house because I love it.
I like that. I'm sure Lizzie will want to put that up also, being the Floyd freak that she is. So.
Did you not know I have a copy of the wall on the wall? Because I do.
Yeah, but it would be great is if I sent you a photo of one of the walls in my room, and you could put the wall on the wall that's on your wall.
On the wall.
On top of a copy of Fly on the Wall.
No, AC/DC does not enter into this. So that is the unbox. Any thoughts, gentlemen, while I put this back in the bag?
I like that it's pretty, no frills, but it looks beautiful though. Like it's definitely a less is more kind of thing, but I love it. I think it looks incredible.
God damn it. They did a lovely, this thing won't fucking work today. They did a lovely job. I wanted to ask you, Nick, because I had a side convo with Don about this. How did you feel about the vinyl packed into those vinyl sleeves?
It's too fucking fat.
Right? It's too fat a package. And like, I don't understand why they insist on doing this shit.
It's almost as fat as the Iron Maiden records.
Yes.
And with the Iron Maiden records, I can't intersleeve them.
Right. Almost can't do it.
Do you just leave them in the gatefold?
Yeah, I just
leave them inside. Okay.
Because they're all the last like 18 Iron Maiden records are triples. So you got nowhere to go. And not only are the records like a half an inch thick, the inner sleeves are like a 1/4 inch thick. There's just no room for all this shit. I mean, it's just too big. Nobody wants 18-inch thick records. Anyway, so yeah, I think they went a little extra with all the business, and I think this might not even go back into the outer sleeve because I don't know that I can squeeze the bit back in it.
I managed to. I'll show you mine.
I've ripped mine multiple times.
I have my hype sticker. I'm going to rub it for effect like a nipple.
My hype sticker is inside the sleeves.
And then as you can see, 2 back in there. But like, yeah, I thought this was a thicky boy, a little thicky boy, but I'm going to say that I really did love this. And sounds great. I don't know you unfortunately Don has yet to hear it, but I spun mine. It is a 45 RPM.
No, it isn't.
It isn't? It is.
No.
Sure. Maybe I have it on.
No.
Maybe I didn't look. Is it 33?
Right. Did you spin it at 45?
No. I mean, it sounded good. So like,
because that'd be hysterical if you did.
I don't remember if I had it on the wrong one.
Like I've got like several Doom records that I didn't remember were 45s, and I listened to them at 33.
That's great.
Totally good. I mean, like if you listen to Tomb of All Things at 33 or 45, whatever, it's
doesn't
fine.
matter. Same record.
Did you guys hear the thing? It was like the
same thing.
Was it the Osmonds or like a Donny Osmond song that like is on a 45, but if you played it at 33, it sounds like a fucking stoner rock doom song.
Yeah, basically, if you play at 33 instead of 45, it becomes stoner doom instead of funeral doom.
Fair enough.
Funeral doom. Yeah.
Well, it's a genre. It's for real. Also,
It totally is.
Death Doom is also a genre. Before we do the track by track, do you want to just talk about the movie for a second, or?
I've only seen the movie like one time, so I really don't have a whole lot to say.
Oh.
Well, I've seen the movie probably about 28 times, Keith, because I got it on DVD.
Right.
Keep in mind that it's only recently that I really grew an appreciation for pre-Dark Side Floyd.
Sure.
It took me a long time. It took me a long time to warm up to it. Past after Piper, I love Piper. I've always loved Piper.
So what is out now, what was in IMAX and what is on demand and Blu-ray and all that shit is actually the 74 version of the movie. And what I was going to say before this is at some point, somebody was like, oh, we did all these. So yes, they mostly recorded everything in Pompeii in 71 in one take, but there were multiple takes. So what they did was they recorded a lot of it. They would record just Nick Mason. They recorded everybody, as you see in the wide shot, but they also recorded all the close-ups, one whole song at a time. Just David, just Rick, just Nick, just Roger. And then they spliced them all together to make like a cool, that's why you have all those jumpy cuts that look like 80s MTV commercials. That's good and bad. Good and bad, or Van Halen jump, but good and bad because it's an experience, right? It's not just watching a regular band play live. Yes, that does exist, but there was also random other takes. And then some jackass decided like, there's like 58 cans of film on all this audio and single take stuff. Let's throw it all the fuck away. So there were musical takes that were lost that could have been additional takes, remixed, remastered, other things we've lost. We lost Don's camera for a second, but that's fine. I'm talking. So I unfortunately, I don't know if Don is gone. Okay. I was about to ask Don a question. Now I can't ask him.
You can ask me.
Well, I can ask you. I don't know if you felt like, so we know that everybody in Pink Floyd kind of all collaborates, right? Like Rick Wright doesn't just play piano and organ, he plays other things. We know he sings lead sometimes, and him and David sing lead together. And we know that I felt like in the movie there's a lot of instances where Roger is just everywhere. Roger is also playing keyboard. Roger is also playing drums and percussion. Roger is also like giving directions to the producer. I know that this is right around the time Roger starts kind of guiding the band direction.
This is when he starts insinuating himself.
A lot.
This is the beginning, and then the wall is the finishing, or I guess maybe even final cut.
Can you see if we've lost Don for the show or not? Or is he just kind of taking a break? I didn't see any message.
He didn't say anything.
He's just gone. Okay. Cool.
He's still here. He just has his camera off. Maybe he had to take his junk out for a second.
Like, yeah, this is a little strange. A little strange. Slurp. But anyway, Roger is everywhere sometimes for I don't know why. Because it's not particularly adding a lot.
No.
There's a lot of one of the songs has him and the Careful with That Axe, him and Gilmore going back and forth, percussion and guitar, and there doesn't seem to be anybody else around. And it's just showing. Oh, hey, Don is back. Okay, are you
Don?
Okay? Did you get yours?
What I got?
Oh, god damn it! Anyway, because you could have like literally unboxed the shit.
Yeah, well, I told you to wait.
Yay! I'm so happy.
Don't have time to wait.
Now I can hang with the cool kids. Yay! I got mail.
No, except you don't have the secret information. You don't have the secret information. You don't know what it sounds like.
I got mail. Yay! I got mail.
Special ed, you're in the dumb class. You can't sit with us anyway.
Wow, that's
what you missed, and now I can now ask Don. Don, thinking back on Live at Pompeii. Did you think that Roger is super duper inserted into a lot of places he doesn't need to be, like the boss of the band almost, before he really became the boss of the band?
I don't think I would say that, to be totally honest, because I mean, to be honest, in some odd way, I almost felt like that might have even been the last time I felt like it seemed like they were a unit, because
I didn't get that. I
Every-
mean, again, I haven't watched it much, but I did not get that at all, that they were a unit.
Yeah, I watched it right before we started recording. I was watching it for an hour and a half. So
it really felt to me like that they were all off in their zones. It's not like when Led Zeppelin played. Well, Led Zeppelin would always be all around the drum kit together. These guys were off in their spaces.
But what I mean by a unit is that those guys were like, I mean, all the cosmic talk. You guys can always count on me for the cosmic talk here, but in a lot of ways, like how I used to always talk about how with the Dead, they could play like a unit, but not look like they were actually even looking at each other. But they just knew they had their place, they had a focus, they had a thing. And I think that whole thing with Floyd, to me, was probably the very last time that they were an experimental thing. They were really in their element. And I think that the overall visual aspect of it and watching them each do their own thing, but then sonically coming together was more, it's what I paid more attention to than I did for each of the individuals, if that makes sense.
Let me ask you guys a question based on both the album and the movie. Do you find it strange that the live album has no crowd and there's no feedback, there's no woohoo stuff?
Well, it was meant to be that way because they had been known as a live band. That was the idea that Maben, the director, had. Like, what if it's just Pink Floyd, the band, and no crowd? That was the whole reason they did it.
But I'm asking what you think of that choice.
I think it's fine. I think it actually fits the setting. Like, first of all, I don't think they were they still having. I mean, I guess they're still having concerts at Pompeii. But I actually
not really.
I really appreciate that it's like this historical area. Pompeii itself has got a mysterious quality to it. It's kind of like playing at the Parthenon or something like the Acropolis.
The Pompeii exhibit is back at the St. Louis Science Center.
For how long?
About 6 months.
All right, maybe we'll.
I went to it last time I was here. It's really cool.
Okay.
It's creepy as fuck because there's dead people in it.
Yeah, it's dead people.
That sounds awesome.
They're on a graveyard. By the way, Pompeii is a grave.
Yeah,
the whole
totally.
city is a grave.
There's a photo. There's a photo of a dude encased in lava.
Yeah,
who's just whacking the pilly packer? Except it's not a pilly packer. It's a whole month-long pill case that he's yanking on. Just Google masturbating Pompeii and he'll come up.
Oh, right. Well, that took a turn. I thought you were talking about Gilmore's package, which is very prominent in a lot of shots.
Which is fucking Gilmore rocking the moose knuckle.
Gilmore's whammy bar.
Gilmore's whammy bar.
Extra, but it's more like
it's more like Gilmore's rebar.
It's made of a certain kind of wood. It's not alder. It's not mahogany. It's something else.
It's more like willow. It's really strong for a while and then kind of.
Anyway.
But you know what, Keith, to kind of echo what you were talking, how you like that?
I see what you did there.
But Keith, Nik, you were talking about just how it was in general, not hearing a crowd. There was also a very kind of cosmic / spiritual reason behind this too.
It had a very ethereal feel to it.
Well, you know what it was is that
this is before Floyd gets angry.
Well,
and I think that's really important to mention. Because in 6 weeks, they go in to start doing Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah. And that's when Pink Floyd switched. They're not really, they're singing, they're still a little cosmic and hippie and peace, love, dope. And I don't think Pink Floyd Animals works at Pompeii. It's too angry.
No, it's that's too much of a mood piece, I think. I also think that with the whole Pompeii thing is that what I loved was that, and when I was reading something about it just recently, because I was trying to just brush up on some history, is that the whole, also part of the concept at playing Pompeii was that there was an audience there. The spirits, the people that once roamed Pompeii.
Whacking it. Okay.
Well, that guy too. I mean, I think they probably used him as a roadie. I don't know.
But do you know what I mean?
So I mean, but there's something to be said about that because Floyd was a very, very at this point, they were like a very intense live band. It was an intense live show. It was built off of the the energy of audience, and but it also equaled a lot of great frustration to the band playing in front of large audiences. And so this was like a whole new challenge for a band who has been playing to people to all of a sudden have the skill and the ability to go from playing to large crowds to guess what? We're going to put you in a place. You have to play like you're playing at a concert, but there's no one that's going to be there. So you have no excuse as to distractions or anything like that. So let's see what you're really made of, you know? And so they stepped up to the plate and took it as a challenge, I think. I mean, would you agree, Keefy?
Oh, sorry.
And Nick, I mean, both of you.
No, I totally agree. No, it's absolutely that.
I agree. I think it was cool for them to do. I think, again, the band had wanted, the reason the band was very serious and worked with Antonini and did all these film scores and all these live events and happenings and things, as we talked about at the beginning of our first Pink Floyd series. I think they felt they were not being taken seriously as artists and musicians and composers. And that's what they really wanted. They wanted to be taken seriously. And it was hard for them to be taken seriously because space rock, because of Sid, because of all these extracurricular things.
And because of the goofy ass outfits they wore, the puffy pirate shirts.
That was one time.
That was literally just for that one, right? That one.
I like saying puffy pirate shirts. Move on.
Oh, real quick. And also, Keefy, I just want to let you know too that in the celebration of doing stuff like this, and talking about the Dead, was that the Dead actually was really inspired by Floyd, who did Pompeii. And they actually in 78 did 2 shows in September of 78 in front of the pyramids at Giza.
I remember.
To kind of have that.
My brother did not stop talking about this fucking thing when I was like 6 and he was 16. I know.
And the funniest thing, it's like the worst show, one of the worst shows they ever played. Because
every show is the worst show they ever played because they're terrible. But we'll go.
Oh my God, Keith. Okay,
Keefy,
I love you, dude. I love to
Don,
hit you.
Stop. Let Keefy. From now on, any talk of the Grateful Dead ends with Keefy insulting them. Once he insults them, the Grateful Dead talk is over.
I'm sorry, Don.
No,
I'm not sorry.
No.
I live in San Francisco and I'm not sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm probably going to get
I'm Keefy. I live in cities. I've lived in more than 3.
Well, good for you.
Okay,
Anywho,
so do you have anything?
When you do the track by track, we probably should be doing the Blu-ray version because I think that's the version that's on Spotify and that most people are going to hear. And that's the movie version that the album is mirroring.
Okay, let me back up.
74 movie. Ultimately, even though we did 72 and the album's 72, so Dark Side of the Moon comes out, it's a spectacular smash. They go back in and fill out with that behind the scenes stuff, which I love. Mm-hmm. I don't know why Roger is saying, can we record this now? I don't know why he's inserting himself into things. But I guess he was taking over the band and that was evidence of it. He's everywhere. He's fucking everywhere. When you rewatch this thing, because I rented it to watch it because I missed it in the movies in IMAX. Hopefully they'll put it back out. They haven't. Zeppelin has come out again and again and again, but Floyd they just did for IMAX, I guess. But I don't know, man. I really love the additions to the film and the score here. I love getting they know, of course they know that Dark Side was a huge smash. The director was mad. Even though he helped go refilm the things they did next and them having like lunch at Abbey Road or breakfast at Abbey Road and being funny and cutesy, kind of all, silly for a change. That's a nice change.
And that stuff like got even them getting breakfast got parodied.
Yes.
And tributed over the years.
Yes,
I mean,
but they were mad. But Maben, the director, was mad ultimately when they put the movie back out in 74, which is what we have and what we see. Yeah. He was mad because he felt like Dark Side kind of undercut it. Hey, bud, they're not going to like wait to put their record out so your film can get a second life. The reason your film has a second life is because suddenly Pink Floyd became one of the biggest bands in the world.
Bingo boingo. Put it in the basket. We ready for...
Go for it.
Alrighty, let's just do the 10.
Nik, Don, Keefy, that's the order. Go.
All right.
The horn.
Starts off with Pompeii intro. You want to hear the beginning of Dark Side of the Moon? It's right fucking here. Don.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same thing. Is that it's basically just a precursor to what we would get with Speak to Me.
Yep, I didn't need this. Go on.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Echoes Part 1 should have been one bit, but whatever. You know what? This is where you really hear the quality of this band as a unit. This does not sound all that different than the studio recording. This is when they're still recording things honestly, if you take my meaning, and they knocked it out of the park on this. Absolutely. 10 out of 10. No notes.
So I feel like it's definitely a 10 out of 10, but this to me does sound different from the studio recording.
Speaking figuratively.
Oh, okay. Because overall, what I loved about this is that this was getting to hear Pink Floyd playing as this. And by the way, when I said they were a unit, I understood now what Keefy was talking about. Keefy, you were talking more about the Dark Side footage where Waters was. I was thinking.
No, I mean the whole thing.
In
Pompeii, he's playing drums. He's playing keyboards.
With the big gong, and
he's playing the arc. Yeah. He's fucking roaming around, and they're fucking they're doing close-ups of him, and you don't really get that with anybody else in the whole band. Just Roger, like they were making him the focal point. Listen, he sings except for Echoes, which obviously is beautifully sung by David and Richard
and Rick.
Rick, obviously, but like, I know, listen, we'll get to Set the Controls, but like, I don't know necessarily that Roger is my pick for the front man during when it clearly is still a group thing.
Matter of fact, and you I probably do need to rewatch it, because now that you're saying it, I vaguely remember it, but I feel like I've just always been more attuned to the visual musical aspect as opposed to who was who, but now I want to check that out again. But anyway, back to Echoes, is that I thought it was beautifully done. It showed that their ability to slightly improvise, and kind of gave that idea that they could still play loosely and still be extremely tight. And the song is recognizable, but it's fucking incredible. I would rather listen to this version than the studio.
Yeah, I was going to say that I love that, like the introduction of the song without the extra mix of the album is beautiful. Like Roger coming in, he starts to play. It starts with him and Rick playing keyboards together, actually. And obviously David's beautiful guitar. And then Roger comes in with his bass note, and it's not the same mix because it's outdoors and it's other things. I know, by the way, like watching the movie, I'm pretty sure other than David's Blackie and obviously Rick's keyboard setup, which was very unique for the time, I don't think they got like new drums or anything for Nik. Like it's beaten ass heads. It's
right. And Roger's playing the same bass that he played for he's still playing.
He's still playing that bass, and Nik's cymbals are not polished up or new at all. His heads are beat to shit.
It's the same ones that he had on Ummagumma.
Right.
Yeah, it's like they literally just it's almost like they just rolled off tour and then just hauled the gear.
Probably did just roll
exactly. Yeah.
Well, they drove all the gear. They also drove all the gear. I guess they drove trucks onto ferries and then drove the rest of the way to Pompeii. Again, logistically, a beautiful idea on paper, a logistical nightmare, and they still captured it.
Yeah, when Dave plays Pompeii, 40 years in the future, he actually has people there too. So imagine that. Moving on to Careful with That Axe, Eugene. Really breathe this in, fellas. Breathe this in. Because we are in the era where Roger still allows songs to be played that don't have his words or his primal screams all over them. And this era is ending today. Done.
Wow, that really took a dark turn. I was just gonna say that the first time I heard this when I was on mushrooms, I like almost fetal positioned under my couch because it was that intense. But I will say that this kind of goes again. Cosmic Dawn here is that being the fan of exploratory music that I am, I love that I got to hear Pink Floyd be like this. And this was, in all sense of the word, like you said, Nik, this was the last time we were going to see them kind of hitting on things the way they're doing here. And for me, they left it all at Pompeii. I thought this was fucking beautiful. And can we also just say, Keefy, how many fucking stoner psych rock bands have stolen this very vibe and tempo for numerous songs?
Thousands. No notes, Don, but I will add one thing. Anybody else note for this is the definitive Careful with That Axe for sure. Mm-hmm. And also, anybody else notice Goodbye Cruel World is also basically ripped from the beginning of Careful with That Axe, probably on purpose. Probably is a nod to Sid. Yeah, the
I did not know that.
The little bass octave is absolutely Goodbye Cruel World. And also Outside the Wall a little bit too from the concert version of the movie. And
I love that.
We now lost Nik. He'll come back. All right.
Oh shit.
It's the John and Keith show, just as it should be. Let's
hold on. Let me jerk these two.
I was doing that before. Yeah.
Did Nik lose count of all the dicks that were surrounding him?
I don't know where he went. I didn't kick him out. He just disappeared.
Are we still recording?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, cool. We'll just.
How competent of us are we still on?
Oh, it says, my net just died. Keep going without me.
All right. Oh, maybe it'll come back.
Our brother has fallen. Nik has fallen.
So the next track is On the Run studio footage. It was really cool for me as a huge fan of Dark Side. This is now the 74 intercutting with the 72. And just to, I know Nik said, and he's not wrong, they should not have split up Echoes into two. But also, they used to do Echoes as a one long piece that was like 45 minutes. And there's also sort of a micro song called Embryo that technically is in the middle. It's most notably known on Works, which Nik will brag about his vinyl copy of Works that he got at a flea market for $1. And it's some rare fucking version because he's Nik. But that's fine. He's allowed. My brother had Works on 8-track or some shit. And but they had always intended to split up Echoes for Pompeii. So it's not. They broke it up when they redid they re-put it out because this is again. So anything that's Dark Side starts here and is the Dark Side studio footage with the tracks. And so I like seeing, I've always read about how they made On the Run by working with the original early ARP synthesizer.
The ARP synthesizer, again, yeah.
Nik refuted me when we had talked about it in a previous podcast episode. I think that On the Run is the very first like EDM track. It's almost a dance music track at that beats per minute.
100%.
And people today, again, how many bands copied that shit? And artists and Fatboy Slim and Moby and a million, the Orb and all of them. Which is why the Orb wanted to work with David Gilmour. I don't think anybody ever makes that connection. The reason why David Gilmour is on a whole album with them is because the Orb loves On the Run. But anyway, On the Run, I love seeing how they made it. And again, Roger is like, can we record the take now? Like whatever his accent is. What did you think about this behind the scenes footage of making A Dark Side of the Moon?
So when I first saw this movie, like back in around I had it on VHS, probably around 94 or so, maybe 93. And I just remembered it like kind of being confused. I was like, why is all this footage here? But then there's this Dark Side of the Moon footage. I thought Dark Side of the Moon, I hadn't been able to put two and two together that this was the movie part due with this new footage. So once I figured that out, like it's so ingrained in my head, like just the overall, what I'm seeing, what I'm able to hear, and seeing them in the studio, even as pompous and arrogant as Waters is, there is something to be said about watching musicians in the studio because they turn into children. You know what I mean? And like Roger, when he's playing on that ARP, like literally looks like a kid who's just put together one of those like build your own transistor radio kits. You know what I'm talking about? Like we used to get when we were kids. So I love hearing it, but to see it is what's going to really knock that home,
I just realized something. What Nik was doing was only the concert, which I had said, don't do just the concert, do the whole film, because that's what people are going to hear. First of all, that's what people will see on Spotify.
Right, yeah.
They get the album, and when they watch the movie, they're getting the whole thing. So if he comes back and he wants to just do the concert abbreviated, I respect that. But I felt I kind of want to talk about the studio footage.
I like doing,
So we already did Careful with That Axe. We talked about On the Run.
Mm-hmm.
Saucer Full of Secrets is next. Again, interesting to see that they're still playing these things. I know that kind of this is the end, Careful with That Axe and Saucer are ties to the Sid era. Set the Controls is really one of the first things without Sid that David helped do. So it's very interesting to me that Saucer is even on here. They were continuing to play it live. So this is 8 years into their career as a band, right? Where they're still playing Saucer Full of Secrets. Let's say it came out in 67, 68. So here comes Nik. Do we want to let him back in? I guess we will. He's coming coming back with his phone. Maybe his computer shit the bed. I don't know. All right, we'll let him back in. I guess we'll let Nik back on the show.
Hey, what's the password?
It's his podcast. Nope, no camera, no sound. Great. Amazing.
But it says iPhone.
What a nightmare for him. Thoughts on Careful? Hey, there's the guy.
Sorry, I'm on the iPhone. Continue.
What happened? You said your internet took a shit?
Yeah, my internet crashed. I'm on my cellular, so let's...
You have one earbud in? Is that all you have?
I have two. I like one.
Nik is like radio edit.
It's your own butt.
Radio edit.
So Nik, we made an executive decision while you were gone. You were doing just the concert track list, but I want to do the whole film track list also and talk about. I know you didn't watch it, but I think it adds to the whole experience to discuss these things. If you want to skip them and just do so, while you were gone, we talked about On the Run. You had already done Careful with That Axe. Hey, you got a kitty check.
Kitty check.
Is that Leia?
Goose. No, it's Goose.
Okay, they all look alike to me.
Well, Goose and Leia look similar. Continue.
Sorry. So we did Careful. We did On the Run, and I don't know if you have any impressions on that.
None.
Zero. And we did Careful with That Axe, which I said was the definitive version of it, right as you dipped. So then in the studio, the next thing is them recording Us and Them, which is beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
But no different
incredible.
than the Dark Side version, because it is in fact Dark Side being made. And if you have no thoughts on that, Nik.
I haven't seen the film in so long.
Sure. So. Okay. So we did talk about the inclusion of Saucer Full of Secrets.
Which was fucking brilliant, by the way. I just have to re-chime that. There was this, they played with so much unabandoned on that song. It's almost like they were playing it like it was the last time they were going to play it.
Did your light go out, Nik? Oh my God. Did your ring light go out too?
I'm sorry,
Holy
I'm
shit.
dealing with things.
What a disaster.
It'll come back.
Poor Nik. Nik, don't die on this podcast, please. Bad things happen in threes.
Did JD Vance visit Nik before the podcast? Anyway, what do you think about
Moving on.
Saucer?
I love it. And like I said, this is the last era where we have Pink Floyd playing very seriously long instrumental passages. That wasn't a joke. I mean, this actually is it.
Yeah.
Going from this point forward, Roger's words has to be all over everything.
It's true. Interestingly, have you guys listened to a lot of bootlegs from this era in addition to Pompeii?
Yes,
Don?
I have actually.
So Don, I want to ask you, I don't know, Nik, do you want to take back over the reins? But I wanted to just ask Don how this holds up compared to those bootlegs. Because I did feel like I haven't heard a lot of live takes of One of These Days that isn't from this.
Right.
Because it's a very novel approach to take a very, very highly produced studio track and play some version of it live with basically Nik dominating on the drums.
Right.
And not the same, there's slide guitar, but there's not the same instrumentation so much, right? It's a little different. You have the little, keyboard jabs from Richard, and then not quite the wild soloing of the album for whatever reason. And the bass is the bass. And obviously it's one bass instead of the two basses. You know that One of These Days is infamous for having two basses at the same time. It's only maybe so many tracks in the world that have two basses at the same time. So I wanted to know how this stood up to other tracks at the time. And then I'll let Nik take back over the controls.
So from I just had to pull up a couple of titles just to remind myself, because obviously being in the big bootleg trading circuit I was with the Dead in the 90s, Floyd was very much a heavily traded band, especially amongst Deadheads. And the thing was that surprisingly, this could be a crapshoot era for live Pink Floyd. Like, even though they did play a static set list, they did play the same songs every night. To their detriment, because they were playing so many shows, you would get a night where they were like fucking slaying it, and then the next night you'd be like, okay, this is kind of slugging on and off, and like, as far as the stuff on this album, it almost would be like if they played one of the best shows they played on a tour, and so it doesn't deter too much from what I've heard on the bootlegs, and because, like I said, from tour to tour, Floyd would play the same, usually they did two sets. They would usually do like like they would do like a song set, and the second set would be the album set. So, they did that for Dark Side, they did that for Animals, and so on. So the difference is that you would hear the same song, but sometimes you might not hear it as good. Sometimes you might hear it better. So Pompeii's versions to me are just like what you would have heard on like the best night for them. So yeah. And because they don't have that improvisational nature either, they're not like deviating off of too much.
Nik, thoughts on one of these days I'm going to cut you into little pieces?
That's not on my record.
Okay.
Sorry,
why don't you? I mean, it's in the film and the concert. I don't understand.
It's not on the record. Wait, yes, it is.
It is on the record. Jesus,
I'm
Nik.
sorry. My apologies. Did we already do? Did you already do set the controls?
No, that's next.
What the fudge?
I don't know what you. I told you what version to look at on Wikipedia, and you didn't listen.
Hey, Nik.
I can't look at Wikipedia right now.
Okay, pal. I guess Nik, I'll run it.
Are you feeling a little sluggish, Nik? Could you use maybe some of this?
Oh,
what the fuck?
Or maybe Roy Thomas Baker comes in with the straw and just fucking takes it all for you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Look, goodbye.
This is the Wikipedia I have up right now.
Sure, pal. Okay.
One of these days, it's a fun song. No, it's good version. Again, we're talking about songs that are quickly coming out of the list. So kind of a last hurrah.
That's true.
Enjoy it. Great time.
I think about the drums of One of These Days, and I think about how many songs Jean Paul from Clutch copied those drum beats, Elephant Riders and all the things.
And you do know in the movie, right, where it's like the camera is on Nick Mason, like for the bulk of that song, it had something to do with the cameras that they were using, because they were using old school film cameras, that the bulbs went out in two of the cameras, and all they had was the stationary camera that was for Nick, because each member had a stationary camera, and then they had side cameras and back cameras. The bulbs went out on all of them but the one in front of Nick, which is why we got like 2 minutes of Nick Mason.
Well, it's also his song, so it's like his it's like mainly features him and supposed to feature him and Roger, right? For people watching the Live at Pompeii, when you see those stands with the white papers, that's to white balance the camera lenses and also maybe deflect some sun away, but mainly to check white balance on cameras back then. And I will let Nik take over for Set the Controls, which most people know, because Roger's, it's his main vocal thing on this.
This song is not as good as Roger thinks. There is no version of it that's amazing, and this one's really long. I don't need this. I don't need this. I would rather have If. I would rather have Fat Old Son. I would rather have anything off Piper at the Gates of fucking Dawn than this song. Done.
I love it. Like,
you're wrong.
No, man. Again, in my other Deadhead persona, like, I love exploratory music. I like to listen to this kind of music when I'm in a certain frame of mind, because that kind of music is performed and written for those kinds of moments. Hell, they were on those kinds of moments when they wrote these songs. So to me, it's, to me, there's two Floyds. Like, you're either going to listen to, like, I either want to hear like Dark Side on Floyd, or I want to hear like Melt My Fucking Face, Put Me in Fetal Position in the corner, hoping not to slide off the face of the earth, because this is fucking great. I love this.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, there's Set the Controls for the Heart of the Sun, and You're Either Right or You're Wrong. And it is maybe the best thing on here beside Echoes. Actually, it is my second favorite Pink Floyd song, and it always has been. So can't help you there, Nick. It's brilliant. Roger's brilliant.
Minority opinions.
Yeah, you're welcome. The opinions are like assholes. You have one, I have one, we all have one. And it's a brilliant piece of work. And I love that it's long. And every version is a great version. So there. Continue.
Next, we get into Mademoiselle Knobs, which is just that fucking dog singing the blues. But I think it's a different dog.
It's not Seamus.
It's not Seamus. Yeah.
It's a different dog. I don't need a dog singing the blues. Done.
In my life, when do I not want or need a dog singing the blues? You know what I'm saying? Like, no. I don't know. To me, this is a good kind of breather moment. I also like the idea that we got to see them being silly and like having fun.
I don't need them silly though.
Goober. Yeah, but I do, because it makes them real to me. I mean, even though Pink Floyd, because Pink Floyd at some point, as much as huge fans I am, they're in my top 5, but they did get a little mechanical after a bit. Like, they kind of hung to this kind of very serious, stoic kind of journey. Whereas like here, it was kind of fun. I like it.
I'll give. Okay. Keefy.
Yeah, I love that thing. And then while you were gone, Nick, we talked about the decision to split up Echoes into 2 distinct parts was made by
wish I was here.
Wish you were there.
That was a triple entendre.
It was a triple pun. I liked it.
That was. I like
Echoes
that.
Part 2 was a decision made by the director, because Echoes used to be a thing they jammed live, and it was Echoes, Embryo in the middle, which I mentioned, from the collection works that you have on vinyl. And
I don't.
I thought you did. And then did you get rid of it? You had
I never had it. I never had works.
Well, then fuck me. Maybe we saw it when we went to one of the vinyl places in St. Louis, and we thought about getting it, and it was a beat to shit copy, and we didn't, or I didn't.
Quite possible.
Very possible. So Echoes 2, like, they didn't just like, we did the 1974 version, and Echoes was so long we needed to split it up to put it out on an album or a movie. It was meant to bookend the thing, mostly. So I have no problem with Echoes.
Kind of like that. I get it, but I just don't like it. I wish You Were Here was one part. Roger was wrong. Everyone else was right. That should have been one side.
Do you mean Shine On You Crazy Diamond?
You mean Shine On You Crazy Diamond?
Yes, I do mean that. Yeah.
From the album Wish You Were Here?
Correct.
Okay. And then the
song
Wish
You Were Here could have been one side too. That would have been amazing. They'd need more words.
Be a little short. But actually, Welcome to the Sheen, Have a Cigar, and Wish You Were Here are a very good 1, 2, 3 to close an album. I would be fine with that.
I agree with that, yeah.
But probably limited by the time. This is
really I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
What I was going to say, I do like that they kind of did the part 1 and a reprise to it of sorts, because like you said, in the setting, it works perfect. Like I feel like, it'd be like a sandwich with no bottom piece of bread.
Hey, Hart, pay attention to what a reprise is.
Oh, call it back.
Long, short, short. Long, short, long. Long, long, long. Short, short, short. Not short, short, long. That's not how you do a reprise.
It's also, reprise is also not a completely different variation on the theme. It's the same fucking thing. Anyway, let's wrap this up. I think we can all agree. Let's talk about Keefy and I, because Don waited too long. Keefy, what do you think of the quality of this pressing?
Oh, I thought it was beautiful.
I give it a 10 out of 10 myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's beautiful. Everything. I mean, like the fact that we got new Pink Floyd records the last couple of years from the band, and they're all exemplary.
I
Every
mean, gotta
single
be
element is amazing. Like we're so
gotta be
lucky.
honest. I mean, the Eaton's been good in the last few years of Pink Floyd. We have had David, Nick, and Roger all active. We have had multiple Pink Floyd new issues and reissues. We have had in the time we've been doing this together, in terms of just Pink Floyd, we've had Delicate Sound of Thunder expanded. We have had Libet and Nebworth, which is completely unnecessary. I don't own it. We had Dark Side. We've had Animals. We have had everything. And now we have Pompeii, an official vinyl release. And that's what, 6, 7 releases by Pink Floyd in the last 5 years. I really do believe that they're selling the property, they're selling the IP is gonna be really good for us fans. I got the vinyl for about $43, which I don't think is too much. I'm happy with that number.
No worries. Yeah,
So
it's about what I paid
as
and what Don paid because we both got it from Amazon, so it's about the same amount of money. I splurged on a
yeah, I
thing. By
got
the way,
mine
we
at
lost Don, so this has just been one of the
yeah, I saw
most epic episodes of all time that we lost Don. You can see on
twice.
maybe if Don can come back or not. I'm not sure, but I'll expand for a while so Don can get his final say in case he can come back in. The Eaton has been good. I want to single out Steven Wilson did the mix on this as well as the Dark Side new version of Dark Side for the 50.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Wilson, goddamn genius. Porcupine Tree, Storm Corrosion with Michael Ackerfeld, produced a bunch of Opeth records. They worked together. No Man, which is his other group. I mean, he's got so many incredible projects. He's worked on just about every linchpin progressive rock band, and the work on Floyd, he said, was his dream come true in the first place. I do not want
Just get me the wall.
I do not like
Well,
I think
wall
we'll
live.
get one. I mean, we're coming up on 50 for the wall. We're coming up on 50 for all these things, right? So I think we're going to get a 50th anniversary wall thing. That's the wall with probably like a ginormous package of stuff.
If it has, is there anybody out there? I'll buy it.
I wouldn't want Ezrin back working on it. I think you have a modern, you have Guthrie, and Guthrie, I think, was also involved with it. You know, as usual, he's involved with everything. Yeah. He's the steward of the Floyd canon, and I have no issues with this at all, and I love every single second of it, and I'm just so happy that we got it, and I'm just thrilled that I can review a Pink Floyd record in my lifetime. That is something I haven't heard a million times. I watched the bootleg a lot. I used to
and that's not Endless River.
It's not Endless River. I had the bootleg on VHS many moons ago. I have not had a bootleg or that VHS tape in many a year, and trying to see if Don will come back. Sorry for the click clack. See if he's coming back. It's just been a bad day. Don is back. Hold on a second. Maybe Don will be on his phone. Let's see. Don is back, but is Roy Thomas Baker back? It always takes a beat to come on. I don't know why. Soon, get your shit together. Oh, it's us. I'm tickled pink that I have this. I'm probably going to put this poster up in my house. I will say, I think, let me ask you, I've asked this question. I'll get Don to get his. Oh, Don is on his phone. Jesus Christ. I will. Oh my God. What a mess.
It is an iPhone 16 though, so hopefully it sounds and looks okay.
Yeah, actually, maybe even a little looks better than your camera.
All right, we've had technical fuck ups.
We have had problems today. Really quick, when I let Don sum up his thoughts and feelings on this, but I did want to ask Nick before I give Don his final say, and then I will take us home to close us out. What you said you want the wall. We acknowledge that the 50th anniversary of a lot of these key albums are coming up for Floyd in the next 5 or 6 years. Not counting those, is there anything else out there? I ask this question every time we do a Floyd series.
What I really want is the Dark Side of the Moon concert. I want that whole thing. I want that whole thing in one package. I want in the Flesh tour. I want a show from every tour because Pink Floyd is one of those bands that continually updated their set list. You know, they didn't play Astronomy Domini forever. They didn't play Interstellar Overdrive forever. They rotated in and out, and I want more and more of what they did. And then what I want from the wall is I want the wall, the live version. Is there anybody out there? I want another live version of the wall. I want the Pink Floyd version. I want it remixed. I want it remastered. The remix and remastering of this album is top notch, phenomenal. #1 Duke of New York, which that movie was filmed in St. Louis. And I want that for Is There Anybody Out Here? Is there anybody out there? Because the CD version we have of it is thin. I want a good vinyl version of it. And I yield my time to Don.
All right, Don, give us your final thoughts on Live at Pompeii. And is there something of Pink Floyd's you want released that we haven't had yet that's not like Wish You Were Here, Animals, The Wall?
Right.
But tell us about Pompeii first. What's your final thoughts?
Again, Pompeii is one of those things that, like, it because not that I've ever lose my fandom of Floyd, because I never do. Them, The Dead, and Iron Maiden are the three bands that fuel my days every day. But it did rekindle my love for this part of Floyd, which sometimes I feel like we can sadly forget to go back to. And this was just a good, hard reminder for me that, hey, man, you might want to go back a little just for old time's sake and remember that this shit was fucking incredible. And so now I'm going to be stuck on pre-Dark Side stuff for the next 6 months or so. So if anything, it can kind of rekindle your love for another aspect of Floyd that sometimes we might forget to go back to.
Nicely done. And did you have a personal Floyd bootleg or a thing or a show or an album we haven't got lately that you want to see redone in the next little while? What's your wish list Pink Floyd release we haven't gotten, if there is one?
So I have to kind of like mirror Nik in a sense that, like, I would love to hear a full wall show that was mixed well, that sounded good, that didn't sound like it was just kind of pulled off of a soundboard. Like, I'd like to hear a really properly produced and put out
the one they recorded,
version.
the one they filmed.
Yes. And on top of that, I would love to see the film, but we know that there's a lot of red tape behind that one. Other than that, though, I would really like to hear some of those, especially on the North American Dark Side of the Moon tour, those shows. I'd love to hear a proper release of a full show from that, and actually from each of the tours. From like, I could see,
Boo-boo.
Hey, Boo Boo. That cat is not happy, Nik. That cat hates you.
She loves me.
But yeah, I would love to see a bootleg from Wish You Were Here, on down. Just pick a good show, or do one of those things like on those crazy, like the Monkees did, put out a whole tour box set, even though the songs might be the same on every show. Give us a full show so we can hear them, warts and all. The
That's Glacially Musical Podcast, where you can hear Pink Floyd compared to the Monkees. Oh my God. You've been listening to the Glacially Musical Podcast. I am your co-host, Keefy, along with our host, Nik Cameron, and our co-host, Don DeLamont. Sorry for all the technical difficulties today.
Don't forget me.
And unbelievably coked up the ghost of Roy Thomas Baker and half of Bolivia on a platter. This has been a pretty fun episode, despite the technical difficulties and cat checks at the end. Cat checks are usually appreciated earlier, but Nik is roaming around the house. He must have to pee. I am your co-host, Keefy. You know where to find me at all the things on ghostcultmag.com and everywhere else. You can find Nik on most places, but specifically Instagram at Blue Sky, aside from YouTube, which is where you're probably seeing this or hearing this. And Don is at Talking the Talk with Don on YouTube and podcasts, as well as Southeast of Heaven, the blog. It is the Glacially Musical Podcast. It does not play in Peoria, but maybe Peoria would be improved if it was covered by volcanic ash like Pompeii.
Wow. Go Rivermen.
Oh my God, that was Chef's Kiss, guys. Mwah.